Hello, welcome to Business 100, Chapter 11. This is Dr. James Yohe, Gadsden State Community College. Today we're going to talk about marketing, Chapter 11 of your book. And before we can talk about marketing, it'd be nice to know what it is. Marketing is a group of activities designed to expedite transactions by creating, distributing, promoting, and pricing goods and services and ideas. Businesses exchange their goods and services or ideas for money or credit supplied by buyers in a voluntary exchange relationship. Marketing focuses on the many activities, planning, pricing, promoting, and distributing products that foster exchanges. Now, marketing has different functions, as we can easily see here. So we're going to name the functions of marketing and then answer the question, how does an organization use marketing activities to achieve its objectives? The functions of marketing include buying, selling, transporting, storing, grading, financing, market research, and risk taking. Each of these functions help accomplish marketing objectives. So the functions are buying, selling, transporting, storing, grading, financing, marketing research, and risk taking. Now, when a finance person or a marketer talks about risks, they're oftentimes talking about uncertainty. So if we were to start today building a product, we'll call it a widget, that we believed it would sell for 10 years by the time it's produced, marketed, and sold, say 1 year from now, we could look out the window and see how much it costs roughly to buy the factors of production now. These are things we have to pay for in the near future or the present. Then we have to wait for the more distant future to finally sell the good and see what someone is willing and able to pay for it. We don't know what that good's going to sell for in a year because it hasn't happened. Prices are nothing more than a historical event. At some time, someone may have paid $10 for a widget, say in Gadsden, Alabama, but that doesn't mean a widget is going to sell for $10 in 1 year in Mobile, Alabama. So marketing, part of that is trying to predict or at least form a judgment on what price we're going to get for that good in the future. And is it worth it now to pay the money to produce that good and then wait for the future to happen and see what price we get? Marketing research, we could go into, say, Gadsden and look and see how many people would be interested in buying a widget. What types of people are interested in buying widgets? Let's say it's automotive shop owners. So marketing research, we might go and look into Gadsden and see how many automobile service stations there are, repair facilities there are, see how many widgets they might use per year, and we could estimate the market for widgets here in Gadsden. Maybe we're going to offer a better widget or a widget at a lower price. We could say, okay, we think the market for widgets is, $10,000 a year. We think our widgets are better than other people's widgets. That would get us 20% of the market, so we'd be getting about $20,000 in sales. That would be a simple example of marketing research. What is the marketing concept? Why is it so important? The marketing concept states that an organization should try to satisfy customers' needs through coordinated activities that also allow it to achieve its own goals. Adoption of the marketing concept is important because it provides the organization with a philosophy of meeting customers' needs without sacrificing the long-run needs of the organization. This is an example of what the free market is actually about. if you're an entrepreneur and you want to make a profit, you have to go out and satisfy other human wants and needs first. You have to produce a product, say a washing machine for clothes, and then pay for it, put it out on the market, and then that washing machine has to be capable of satisfying some other person's wants or needs. In this case, the want of having clean clothes. And then you have to be able to provide it at a price that the customer is willing and able to sell in light of competition in that market. While you're doing that, you of course want to make a profit. Um, let's say we make high-end washing machines and we get a premium for those because people like our washing machines and know that they're really good. And then let's say that there's a market need out there for low-end, low-quality washing machines. Would it be in our company's interest, okay, to go out there and satisfy that particular need by making cheap washers that don't meet our normal quality standards? It may not, because by doing that, that may diminish people's perception of the quality of our high-end machines. We might want to get around that by setting up a different company to do that, or using a different brand name, or not using a brand name at all and selling it to customers who will brand them themselves. Maybe you might sell it to Lowe's, and Lowe's may brand it, Joe's washing machines, low quality, low price, something like that. What is a marketing strategy? A marketing strategy is the plan of action for developing, pricing, distributing, and promoting products that meet the needs of specific customers. So here we're targeting specific customers, just like with that washing machine example. I said, okay, we may have a very good product that we're putting out there on the high end of the market. We're making profits. Customers love our products. We're doing great. Then we may say, well, we can't get very many more customers without spending a lot more money on the high-end market. We'd like to maybe enter the low-end market for washing machines. Okay, so what we just did would be to come up with a marketing strategy. So we're going to target customers who want low-end washing machines that have low prices, maybe new families, young people, maybe old elderly people. Maybe they don't want to spend a lot of money on a washing machine because they don't do very much laundry. They're not worried about it breaking or wearing out. Some segment of the market. Then we would go in and say, how are we going to sell to them? Say young people. Obviously, if young people who are just starting off or just married and have just started having children, they may want a cheap washing machine. So here we might develop and price that develop the washing machine and then price it at the low end of the scale. And by promoting products, here we may sell it on a price basis. Hey, here's a washing machine, we're $500 lower than XYZ brand, whatever. And then we may actually create a separate brand for it. Okay, because we don't want the lower quality of these low-end machines giving people the perception that our high-end machines, which we've been selling for decades, that the quality of them is somehow going down. What is market segmentation? And describe 3 market strategies. Market segmentation is the process of dividing the total market into groups of people with relatively similar product needs. The 3 strategies are the total market approach, concentration approach, and the multi-segment approach. So one example of market segmentation would be General Motors. General Motors has cars that they're segmenting to different parts of the population. Take a Chevy. Chevys are probably dedicated to lower end car owners, maybe first time car owners. Um, that's sort of their moderate brand. Then you have Pontiacs. Pontiacs might be designed or marketed towards young people, which they don't have anymore. They got rid of Pontiac. And then you might have Buick. Buick, of course, would be geared towards older people, right? You almost never catch a 17-year-old asking their parents for a first car to be a Buick. So here, they're marketing into groups of people, say new entrants into the market, um, young people, older people, and then of course you have Cadillac, which is geared towards high-end customers and older people who want to spend more money and have more luxuries in their car than they would with a Buick. List the variables in the marketing mix, how each is used in a marketing strategy. The marketing mix involves 4 variables: product promotion, price, and distribution. So product promotion, how are we going to sell that car? If we are, say, to look to Buicks, Buicks went out and hired Tiger Woods to sell them, right? He plays golf. A lot of older people enjoy golf. So he was a good spokesman until he had his problems, because older people knew him. Now, I always found those commercials kind of funny. I don't believe for 5 seconds that Tiger Woods ever drove a Buick. But that was what they were trying to do. They were taking someone that was known to this targeted group of people and using him to promote the car to that market segment. Price. Okay. What price are we going to charge for the car? Now, of course, a Buick is not the low end. It's not a Pontiac. It's not the moderate end. It's not a Chevy. It's kind of a little bit fancier. Okay. So we're going to price the car in a way that it appeals to the segment we're targeting. And distribution. How do we get these cars? Where should we put Buick dealerships? The product is a complex mix of tangible and intangible attributes that provide satisfaction and benefits. Price represents the value placed on an object in an exchange. It quantifies value and is the basis of most market exchanges. Distribution makes products available in the quantities desired to as many customers as possible while holding total inventory, transportation, and storage costs as low as possible. Promotion is a persuasive form of communication that attempts to facilitate a marketing exchange by influencing individuals, groups, or organizations to accept an organization's products. So we'll start here again. Promotion. We talked about Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods was a famous golf player. When he was making the Buick commercials, he hadn't done anything wrong. He hadn't gotten in trouble. Okay. A lot of older people knew who he was because older people are interested in golf. And he would promote, which is communicate in a persuasive form, to facilitate a market exchange to get people to buy a Buick. Okay. Distribution makes products available in the quantities desired to as many customers as possible. Here, how many Buick dealerships do we need and where should we put them? Okay. Price, obviously, we price the car in a manner that goes after our market segment. Like I said, 17-year-olds getting their first cars and 20-year-olds getting their first cars typically aren't going to buy a new Buick. The price is too high. Those cars are priced for mature buyers who have the money to go out and spend on the extras that would come with a Buick that wouldn't be in a Pontiac. Why are marketing research and information systems important to an organization's planning and development of strategy? Marketing research is a systematic and objective effort to obtain information about potential customers in order to guide marketing decisions. A marketing information system establishes a framework for accessing information about customers from sources both inside and outside of the organization. Marketing research and information systems are important to an organization's planning and developing strategy. They make possible a systematic approach to decision making in the market. So here, marketing research, we're trying to obtain information about potential customers in order to guide marketing decisions. This could be as simple as going to, say, the Chamber of Commerce. They have different types of maps. I knew when I was a banker, I knew a vet. I think I've talked about him before. He knew that for any veterinarian office, a huge percentage, like 90% of their customers, come within a 3-mile radius. I don't remember the exact mileage. So he went into the Chamber of Commerce, got a map of Auburn, and it had the incomes, median income of people in different areas of Auburn. Then he went and got the addresses of all the other veterinarian offices in Auburn. And he put dots for all those addresses and then circled them with a 3-mile wide circle. Then he looked at the map and said, what areas are not covered? Okay, and there was 3 different areas where you could put a veterinarian's office and there wasn't another one around for 3 miles. When he looked at this, he then said, which one of those areas is most likely to pay to take care of their vet? And median income is important because people who have low median incomes oftentimes don't have enough money to pay for shots and treatment for their dogs and rabies vaccinations and all those other things, while higher income people do. So he found the highest income area, and that's where he located his business. Which, if we go back here, distribution makes products available in the quantities desired to as many customers as possible. So here he's using marketing research, one, to find out where he should locate and how he can distribute his product most effectively to customers that need, want, and are willing and able to pay for the services. Here, briefly describe the factors that influence buying behavior. How does understanding buying behavior help marketers? Psychological and social variables play a part in buyer behavior. The psychological variables include perception, the process by which a person selects, organizes, and interprets information received from his or her senses in order to understand it. We talked about perception with quality, with the washing machine. Motivation, an internal force that directs an individual's behavior to achieve a goal. Number 3, learning, a change in a person's behavior caused by information and experience. And this is something we really need to focus on. Every single day, you wake up, and by the time you go to bed, you're a different person. Because you've gone out in the world and acted. You've purchased or exchanged goods and services. You've used goods and services. You've worked somewhere. And every day, the experiences and the things that you learn change you as a person and change the decisions you might make. Let's say you go to work one day and most of the time everything's fine. You never have any problems. The boss is fairly nice and and you're working hard and you believe that you're working towards goals. One day the boss comes in and he's not happy and he's rude to you. That might change your perception about the job and your motivation. Do I like working here now that the boss has yelled at me? That would make you less certain in the future that you can go to work and not be yelled at and not have a miserable day. Attitude, knowledge and positive or negative feelings about something. Okay. Um, Obviously, here, one of the things we could talk about is Subway. Subway was very successful. Had old Jared there doing the Subway ads, telling you he lost all that weight eating Subway sandwiches and walking to go get them. Well, what happened to people's feelings about Subway when it came out that Jared was doing bad things? They fired him almost immediately, or close to it. And even today, Subway's having problems because people have a negative feeling about Subway because of what happened. Personality, the organization of an individual's distinguishing character traits, attitudes, and habits. So these are all things, psychological and social variables that come into play when in buyer behavior. Social variables of buyer behavior, sorry, those are psychological. Social variables include the following: social roles, a set of expectations for individuals based on some position they occupy. Two, reference groups, groups with whom individuals identify and whose values or attitudes the individuals adopt. Number three, social classes determined by ranking people into higher or lower positions of respect. Four, culture, the integrated, accepted pattern of human behavior that includes thought, speech, beliefs, actions, and artifacts. Marketers analyze buying behavior because a firm's marketing strategy should be guided by an understanding of what, where, when, and how customers buy. So here, if we're talking about Buicks, right? Social role, expectations for people in those roles. Grandfathers are not expected to drive around in Corvettes very often. They're supposed to be driving in nice, well-made cars that aren't too flashy, right? If Grandpa came home with a Corvette one day, everybody might think he's having some sort of end-of-life crisis or midlife crisis. Two, reference groups, their friends, the other people that they know, other retirees, right? Other retirees don't expect you to drive up in a used beat up car, but they also don't expect you to drive up in sports car. They expect you to drive up in a nice coupe with luxuries and amenities like a Buick or a Cadillac when we're talking about GM. And social classes, if you're a lower social class or a higher social class, that might affect your decision on whether to buy a Buick or a Cadillac. And then finally, culture. Discuss the impact of technological forces and political and legal forces on the market. Technological, political, and legal forces form part of the marketing environment. This environment influences and structures the development of marketing strategy. These forces shape the marketing environment in which the firm operates. Although these forces in the marketing environment are sometimes called uncontrollables, marketing has an opportunity to influence environmental variables. Okay. One example, cigarettes, legal forces. Cigarettes used to be heavily involved in advertising for sports, especially racing. A lot of race cars had cigarette brands on them. One of the reasons that the cars went in, I mean, that the cigarette companies went into sponsoring race cars was because that wasn't considered a commercial and it was legally against the law to advertise cigarettes on TV in the form of a commercial. So they would endorse, or excuse me, they would use their brands to sponsor race cars. Then legal forces again changed, And I don't believe they're allowed to sponsor race cars anymore. Technological forces with advertising, TV, the internet, YouTube, Netflix, all of these cable, all these different non-commercial programming options have come along and changed how companies advertise. Everyone might have used the TV, or a company might have gone exclusively or used TV the most through the form of an advertisement. Then all of a sudden, people don't watch as much of the network TV stations anymore. They're watching other things, so that would force them to change how they market their products. And that is the end. We have a short quiz. I got 25 minutes. I did pretty good. I'm trying to experiment and keep these things short. Have a good one. Bye-bye.